But we are gonna throw up an event page for like auditions for our next one in January.
Okay.
But we also currently have right now like a more intermediate, I would say like advanced team, and we're just practicing right now.
Okay.
And
like just practicing like technique and
for
things
like
like
a
that.
festival.
Oh, you're actually
like,
planning.
yeah.
You're actually doing a choreography and everything. Oh, okay.
Yes, we're like almost done with the choreo.
Oh, okay. That's good. That's cool. I look forward to that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun.
Okay. Is it with a lot of like returning people that have been part of your team, or did you?
It was like handpicked.
Oh, okay.
Handpicked. They're already refined in dance. We were just showing them the choreo.
Okay, that's cool.
And they're just like, oh, okay, and then they're getting it. They pick it up really fast.
Okay. Is there? It's funny because
which,
like,
by the way, sorry to interrupt,
but
no. Teams are very underrated in the way that they kind of help the community.
They are,
and I feel like they're huge in developing the quality of the community.
In some ways, yes. In some ways, no. I would have to say just depending
on
my
opinion. So there is no yes or no.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like it's yes when the instructor.
Quality instructors.
Yeah, yes. And what they focus on and what how they can improve the dancers overall. Because I do feel like a lot of it really does rely on that. Like I feel like I've learned a lot from when I with my time with Peter Reza, and when I was part of his team.
Mm-hmm.
He's what made it different. Not like even the performances that we did, but really what I grew out of it and I took with me as a dancer afterwards. But yeah, I mean, is it
just like if you would imagine a club or a social without people who have been on dance teams, or without people who have like trained, not even on dance teams, but just like trained, what would the dance community look like without those who have been on teams or trained or like been in classes all the time? And like it's just gonna look very messy. Technique is gonna be very off. In my opinion, you need to have personal training. You need to have training in something, especially nowadays, because you cannot just learn on YouTube.
Yeah, well, even then, I feel like there's still a lack of fundamentals that aren't focused enough on in the dance community that sometimes you don't even pick them up until you're in a dance team because they don't because again you have to have there's a lot bigger focus on structure and frame and all that stuff because it shows when you're on stage. And so like I wish a lot more people, especially the people who run dance teams and have that knowledge, would promote that more in their classes. Focusing more on a lot of that fundamentals and because I feel like if it not necessarily make it a requirement to move on to the next stage of like being a better dancer, but just it should just be nobody should ever be skipping in a class. Especially like when you're teaching beginner classes, ever focusing on where your frame is, your weight, things like that, fundamental things that just get repeated and over and over. Beat you over the head with it. Yes. So you don't forget to think about those, or they just become so ingrained in your dancing. Yeah. So maybe it gets a little lax. I feel it can as you become more of an advanced dancer.
It's kind of like a double-edged sword going into the dance community, where you're in an environment. It's not like a double-edged sword, but it's like kind of ironic what's happening. Like you're there to have fun and enjoy a hobby, but in order to do that, you have to study, which nobody likes doing. So like studying and hobby, dance, it almost makes no sense, but we have to do it. Yeah. We have to do that. Unless you just want to learn 4 or 5 moves, stick with that your whole entire social dance career, life, and just do that, and that's fine. Yeah. But it's like, I don't know, doesn't it just get old, in my opinion?
It depends. I got stuck in a rut for a good little while. Until actually, again, I have to credit Peter Reza for getting me out of this rut and realizing that I wasn't growing as a dancer, and there were things I needed to keep learning and focus on improving in my dancing. So I really do appreciate that. But yeah, some people probably don't want to learn as quickly, or they just learn slower. And it depends on how much you love it, because when you love something more, it's something if you really love it, you're willing to do it for free. And I mean, obviously in our case, like we pay you to do it as much as we do and learn and take classes and perform. Um, but yeah, I mean, and then it feels less like work at that point. Especially like, and then going back to like having performance teams and stuff like that. I feel like that's one of the best ways to kind of create small communities to keep people in the dance community motivated and to want to do more and want to learn more and things like that.
I think the dance in dance teams, what a lot of dance teams, not every dance team, but a lot of dance teams do promote the idea of like dancing, like keeping your frame, having a turnout, like actually knowing where your body is. It's just body awareness. So it doesn't have to be like dancing that you study. If you're just aware of your body and where it's moving, then you can learn social dancing, because you don't have to be an amazing dancer to learn social dancing. You can just know how to lead or know how to follow properly. And you don't have to take classes technically, you don't have to be on a dance team, but it definitely helps like with that.
Some people have like some innate like just talent to pick things up, but I feel like the majority of people don't have that. And
I didn't have that.
Yeah,
I didn't have the touch. I didn't like understand like that that I was doing this too hard.
Yeah,
doing this too light. Yeah. But if you have that innate ability to understand how hard you should be turning her, or how hard you should be turning,
how wide you should turn, how high your arm should be, all those little clues.
If you have that, then don't take a class. But like
I feel like the majority of people
99% of the people probably need to take like workshops or lessons, or
just more they just need to do more learning in general. Just not enough learning in the dance community sometimes. And I don't care how many years you've been dancing, there's always ways you can improve and learn stuff. Like, I mean, I've been dancing for 12 years now, and I literally, like, because I started learning things from urban kids that taught me a different way of leading, that it has already affected the way I lead my salsa and the way I lead my bachata.
Does it help?
My leading yeah, it helped. Yes. It makes it easier because of what I learned.
Cross training.
Yeah, that cross training really matters, because a lot of that overlaps, and if it's a simpler way of leading, then it can be incorporated into another dance. And so, yeah, I definitely do agree. A lot of people should be learning to do more than one dance style, but as long as it's something they're really interested in it, and I recommend it because it will improve your other dance. Whatever you love, whatever your main focus in dance is, if you learn another dance, I can almost guarantee you that it will improve the one you're focusing on anyways.
If you have a very strong foundation in two dances, then it will help each other. But if you, hold on, but if you have a strong foundation in one dance and a weak foundation in another, and you just know a bunch of moves in another, then it's not going to help your original foundational dance that you're strong in.
Yeah.
So like if you know a lot of Zouk, and then you try to do Zouk and bachata, it just looks like Zouk. But if you know Zouk and bachata, strong foundation, you can literally create this fusion that makes it look very nice together.
Yeah. Definitely don't want to promote a lot of improper fusions and stuff like that, because people can get really hurt on the dance floor, and I do agree with that. But I do, like, yes, focusing on fundamentals of different dances will really improve your dance style, because of the fact that when you're focusing on really getting down the fundamentals of one dance style, different dances focus on different things a lot more heavily.
Yes.
Like your frame, it differs in kizomba, in Zouk, in salsa, bachata.
Connections are all different.
Yeah, and learning the fundamentals about that may teach you, like, oh, maybe this hand thing is a little more proper than the other one from the way I've been learning, and it could maybe improve or maybe not. And as you're learning, you grow as a dancer in general, and know where to mix in X, Y, and Z thing that you learn from another dance. Yeah. And so that just takes learning, and you'll get better at it over time. But I do recommend people need to take more classes.
Yes.
Please take more classes.
And if you go to a class, which a lot of workshops and congresses and festivals have, are the classes that teach you a lot of like difficult moves, then learn the fundamentals of that difficult move and really focus on that, because you can learn a difficult move as long as you have the fundamentals of that move. So if they're trying to teach you like a head roll or something that does some crazy pretzels type stuff, like you need to understand where the hands are and where your chest should be and where your feet should be.
Where everything should be, where they should be pointing and all this other stuff, where your weight should be and all that stuff.
And if you know that, you can learn any dance move, any difficult dance move that, because I don't want people to think like, oh, you need to know the fundamentals, and then they just stay with the fundamentals forever. Right? No. And they're just like, it's not good enough.
Yeah.
Well, you have to have something that motivates you, which is sometimes more like difficult moves that you're like, oh, I want to learn that.
Yeah.
Don't stop yourself from doing those moves.
Definitely.
Just learn what they're doing properly.
Yeah. And even then, like, again, that's not a focus in a lot of workshops and things like that for that. And I definitely do encourage anybody who has a stronger background, and you're friends with people who have a stronger background with, like, leading and more focus on some of that technique stuff. Like, I'm, sometimes I'm a little iffy with people teaching each other certain moves if you're not really qualified to teach it. But the one thing is, if you feel like you understand or you have tips that can help others when it comes to their leading or their following, technique stuff needs to be shared more and more. Like, if you can share that more, please share it. Like, people need more help with some of that. So yeah, I definitely do agree with that. And yeah, hopefully people will learn it more from dancing with dance teams. And I know you have a stronger background in that, so I'm sure you do a wonderful job with a lot of your.
We try. We love our students. We try. And they do an amazing job, like, from where they come from and where they are now. Like, I think they've grown. And some of them are your good friends now. And they're, like, in other dances. And they've grown so much that, like we don't even remember that they started with us.
I know, right?
We're like, wait, oh yeah.
We forget how fast.
Freaking Nicholas, or not you, but the other Nicholas started with us.
Yeah.
Holy crap, I forgot about that. Or like Ari Kim, or like these other people.
Yeah.
Or like people who started like teaching at Zoukchata, like now they're doing other things. They're like going crazy with their stuff.
I love seeing the growth of everybody.
So I'm happy that if Zoukchata helped you in some way, like some way, shape, or form, then we've done our job.
Yes, and I'm really glad for that. Okay, just before I wrap things up, I forget. I do want to give one last thing that I like to ask all my guests, and it's actually I want you to ask a question to anybody who's listening, something to either for them to think about or something that they can reach out to us to answer if there's something you're curious about learning about the dance community.
Like from my perspective?
Yeah, any question,
like
anything that you'd be curious, either people maybe ask themselves more or something that you would like to learn from the people in the dance community.
Okay. All right. There's a lot I like to learn about the dance community. I'm always trying to learn. But I do want to ask you guys, what's your favorite socialist? I'm just kidding. Man, what do you want to see more of in socials? What quality, what do you want from socials nowadays compared to before? Like, what's the difference? And do you want to see it at Zoukchata, or do you want to see it at other socials? So let us know what you want, and we will do our best to try to give that to you.
Okay, that's a good question.
So
cool. So yeah. So as far as thank you for coming in, or I'm coming to you. So thank you for spending the time with me.
No, of course.
And having a great conversation. Definitely, everybody, if you get a chance, definitely check them out for Zoukchata. If anyone wants to follow you and find you for any Zoukchata stuff or anything that you do, is there anywhere like they can find certain things for you?
Yeah, I don't really go on Instagram, but I do post like countdowns for Zoukchata Uprising, so it's at Zoukchata, Zoukchata, That's at Zoukchata for Instagram, and then John Manego, 1, 2, or 3
On Facebook.
on Facebook. 1 and 2 are full, I think, so you gotta probably add me on 3
He has a lot of friends, guys.
in case you want to add me, or just give me a message and I'll give you more information about it.
And you can definitely, for you, just you
And
can
follow this podcast.
Oh goodness.
Yeah? Who are you, sir?
Yeah.
You need to give your little thing.
I know. Well, I know. People learn from me here and there. But yes, thank you again for listening. My name is Nick. You have been listening to the Sonrisa Dance Podcast.
Yes.
And definitely follow along for.
I didn't even
much
know
more
that
interesting
was
stuff.
the name, dude.
Oh, I didn't even introduce the show name.
No.
Well, no, I said it with the intro in the episode. Yes, I did. I said episode 7 of the Sonrisa Dance Podcast.
Oh my god, that was so fast.
Sorry, I said it really.
Sonrisa.
Sonrisa, smile. For anybody
Sonrisa.
who doesn't know Spanish and was wondering what that meant, is sonrisa, smile.
Did you know Sonrisa?
Okay.
No.
Sorry. So yes, for all
Now we're making a big thing.
now we're making a
Sonrisa.
big yes, sonrisa. So for
I'll
everybody,
share it as Zoukchata. I'll be
yes,
like, you
it's
gotta
the
listen more.
smiling, the smile dance, the Sonrisa Dance Podcast. So yes,
Sonrisa
thank you
Dance
for that
Podcast.
clarification. I forgot I need to make that. So yes, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And I'll see you guys on the dance floor. Bye guys.